Welcome to the Groseal Township Community Recreation Commission meeting dated July 22nd. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening, everybody. Everyone got a copy of our, or everyone sees our agenda. Is there any changes, additions, deletions, or anything like that? Otherwise, I need a motion to approve, please.
There's a change.
On the agenda?
No, not on the agenda. I'm sorry.
It's been corrected, the date for the next meeting.
Correct, and that's really just a note for us. It's not really part of the agenda, but thank you. Motion to approve the agenda?
Approved.
Ethel?
I'll second.
And seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Approval of the minutes on June from June 24th, 2015. Those were sent out by Brandy from Leah. Any additions, deletions to the minutes? Otherwise, I need a motion to approve, please.
There's one editorial change on the spring deadline for the new restaurant. It should be 2016, not 2015.
Voted. Other than that, any other changes, additions, deletions? Otherwise, need a motion to approve, please. Buddy?
Sure, I will.
And second? Ethel? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, approval of the minutes is approved. Public comment, 3-minute limit. Anyone out there want to make a public comment? Nope. Okay, chairperson's report. Okay, probably most of the community already knows, but we don't have the eel squeal no more, but we had a little bit of a fire at the Water's Edge property. We lost our maintenance barn. It was a complete loss, everything in it. So I don't know if anyone's taken a look at it or contacted Brandy, the severity of it all like that, but it's still under investigation. Brandy's trying to make do without it. You want any comments from you, Brandy, about the fire?
I have it in my report, but I was just going to go through some of the same things. It happened on June 26th, early in the morning. It was called in by a jogger, of all people. At 3 o'clock in the morning, he was running down West River and saw the fire and called it in, and it's been quite a whirlwind since then. We've insurance adjuster after inspector after insurance adjuster after inspector's been through. It's still under investigation, and we're rolling with it. We're maintaining the property now with demo equipment from various dealers. They've been very generous. They bring equipment in and out, and we've been able to maintain the course really well. We've had some glitches when we have problems with the irrigation, and you go to fix something and you don't have any tools, so we have to go buy them. So the guys have done an amazing job with the cards we were dealt, and we really have only lost one day to the course due to the fire, and that was really because of the storm that happened the next day. We just couldn't clean up the brush quick enough, so we really only lost one day, and like I said, the staff's done an amazing job with keeping everything up and running, and we're just rolling through the process. It's lengthy, it's long. We have to, what I'm tasked with right now is cataloging everything that was in the barn, so every screwdriver, every nut, every bolt, every piece of equipment, everything that was in there. So Mark and the other guys have been really just kind of racking their brains, and we've submitted one list, and then now we have to go through and really kind of put a value on it and then back up that value, and then they'll apply their formula of adjusting and depreciation and all that fun stuff. So it's a lengthy process. There's probably 1,000 things we need to provide backup, and so it's
well, kudos to you and your team for there's gonna be a lot of work for you guys, and appreciate all you guys are doing. Any questions about the fire? All right, moving on. Director's report. What else do you got for us? Any updates?
Just with the Water's Edge, the restaurant, the financials have been reviewed. We have a few follow-up questions for each of the individual groups that are involved, and we are hoping to make the decision within the next 2 weeks and bringing the particular group forward at our next meeting, which is in August, and then taking it, once we have the blessing of the CRC, bringing that forward to the township board, and then negotiating the lease from there. The kayak launch, the RFP went out for the asphalt work, the shoreline work, and the installation has already been approved and is in the process of being scheduled. They should start within the next 2 weeks. I'm hoping next week, but if not, the following week. And then the August 13th, the bids are due back for the asphalt work. So then we should be hopefully done by the end of August, beginning of September.
Okay, cool. Any questions about the kayak? All right.
Channels, the information's due to the rec department by August 3rd, and it will be delivered to the residents the first week of September, and that will include everything that is fall and winter. We're kind of changing up the seasons of our brochure. We used to do one brochure for fall, winter, spring, and then just one for summer. So we're going to have spring, summer in one catalog, and then fall, winter in the other catalog. So our deadlines are a little different, and we're changing it up a little bit. Just going back to the fire at Water's Edge, one of the things that we're looking into is a management company to spray all our pesticides and our fungicides and our fertilizer, because you have to have one, equipment, and two, chemicals, which we don't have anymore. And the demo equipment, they'll let you demo it, but they only let you demo with water just to see if you like the feel of the spreaders. So we're looking at finding someone. The country club has helped us out. They sprayed our greens. We were getting some dollar spot on them, so they were very generous and came over and helped mark out and did those. But we're looking at, I have a call into a couple of management companies that they do that for a living, that they manage other golf courses. So they're going to come out either tomorrow or the beginning of next week to give us a quote, and hopefully we can get
Right, it's not as simple as just hiring True Green or something.
Yeah, there's special licenses and special chemicals, and it has to be applied at certain times because you don't want to do it in the height of day when everyone's walking around. And sometimes the greens need to be prepped, and sometimes you put water on right after. Sometimes you don't water, so there's a lot that goes into it.
Okay.
And then just kind of some of the projects we've had in the works and what we've been doing besides fire stuff. At the farm, we removed the railroad ties that were, I guess, they kind of squared in the trees. Well, they used to be maintained, and people used to put flowers there, and they just haven't been maintained in a long time, so it was really difficult. There was grass and weeds growing inside the flower beds, and then grass and weeds around it, so we couldn't get the mowers through there, so we took the railroad ties out, and then we were in the process of getting dirt, and we were going to level the area out. Well, we don't have the tractor anymore, so as time allows, we'll get back over there and level out the area. But the railroad ties have been removed so they can get in there and mow better. So we need to get in there and flatten it out a little bit.
Does DPS, are they sharing anything with you?
Yes,
at all?
they are.
Okay.
Yes, they
airport stuff like
yes,
that, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yep. They've all the departments has been very welcome. Yeah, their backhoe comes over once in a while, and then they've given us a truck to borrow because one of our trucks was in the fire. So they've been very, very helpful. We put gravel down at the farm over by the activity center, between the barns and the activity center, so when you drive through there, you won't see the big potholes anymore. And then we're looking into landscaping ideas of the island areas by the activity center, because they're kind of they need a little bit of work.
They need help.
And then we did get some bids back regarding the dog fence, and I've talked to Chief Porcerelli, and we're trying to come up with a game plan of how we can afford fencing there. And we're hoping to get some funding from the police department, and maybe with tails, and try to get a new fence in there.
Why don't you explain to the commission a little bit about how we've been really taking it on the chin over the years, and you kind of like said, hey, come on,
Well, the dog park was put in by the rec department, and then we maintain it as far as mowing and getting the weed eraser comes out, and they put the chemicals down so we don't have to weed whip every week. And then the animal shelter, or Tails, they get the money from the dog tags, which is not a lot.
Right.
But they get that money, and then the animal shelter is actually under the police budget. So I feel it's more of a joint project than just recreation doing the fence. I mean, if you look at the amount of fencing that we have over at the farm and the amount of fencing we have at Water's Edge that needs to be replaced, like, how do you justify spending all your money on that and not spreading it between all the areas that need fencing? Essentially, we need a fence master plan, and that's what I'm trying to do. And some of the ways of funding is trying to tap and utilize the sources that are using the product, So that's,
the animal control officer being underneath Joe, that's really why he pays the bills over there. So we'll do a little bit. I think it's good. It's good that we're doing it. What you're doing.
Yep. And then just over at Water's Edge, we're working on possibly the location of the maintenance barn will most likely be moved through the insurance company. They'll give us the same amount of money no matter where we put it, but anything above and beyond to move it would be expenses we would incur. And so I guess we're trying to make lemonade out of lemons here and really kind of refocus where our area is. We've added so much in there that we're kind of smushed in, and our parking, we don't have a great parking, and our entrances and exits are kind of dangerous, especially if you're driving a mower and you're not moving very fast. You come across to go out to cross over to the other side of the 9, and cars come in, and it's just kind of dangerous. So what we'd like to do is move the building back a little bit and then create a new entrance for just maintenance, so they're kind of more protected and it's not right out in the open. So we're looking at that and starting the process of a plan of what we're going to do, and we have calls in terrains to start engineering out, the layout of the building. It'll be pretty similar to what we currently had. Obviously, it's not going to be that much different, but we still have to have a plan, where utilities go, where gas lines go, sewer. So we've had people in and out kind of checking on that, and we're still waiting from the insurance company. We should have our quote back either tomorrow or Monday. They had to rework some stuff with the cement pad, and the company that does it, they didn't like how it came back with the tear down. They didn't think that there was enough value in there, so they're kind of reworking it, and then we get it and we get to look at it and say, well, what about this? What about that? But we have total replacement on the building, so if they say it's $80,000 and it ends up being $90,000, then we would get the $10,000 back. That so it is total replacement, as long as we're not including any fees in there for moving, say, a water line or a sewer line,
or making the pad bigger.
Right, correct. So if it's a 20 by 20 and we do 25 by 25, we pay for that extra 5 by 5. And then obviously the nice thing about using all the demo equipment right now is Mark really gets a feel for the different type of mowers that are out there, just what's new on the market, what can we get. They sell demos, so it's just really kind of looking at what it really takes to maintain, and then what money we will get from the claim. So there's a lot that goes into it. So it's, I guess the nice part is we're getting to demo a lot of different equipment and see what the new mowers are, because we haven't had a new mower in probably 40 years.
It's going to be a long process, though, isn't it?
It is a long process. And then just fall projects is the fence at the pool, and the pool needs to be marcited, and the tiles along the top of the pool need to be replaced. So we couldn't get those in at the beginning of the season before and open on time. So they suggested just doing it in the fall when they're less busy and they would have more time to do it and make sure that it wasn't just, sped through and gone real quick, and the time was put in there. So that's all I have.
Your bathrooms, full house.
Yes. Have you seen them?
Beautiful.
They were painted and sealed, and the cracks were filled. There were so many cracks in the walls and the floor, and the company came in and they did a phenomenal job. You guys got
to go in and look at it.
And Wayne County health inspectors were there today, and one of our staff, she's like, "Have you seen our bathrooms?" And the guy was like, "No." And she's like, "Wait till you see our bathrooms." And he did say about 15 minutes in, he's like, "These are the cleanest bathrooms I've seen this year." So the staff takes really good care of them, and now that they're all nicely painted and fresh and clean, it does make a world of difference.
All right, any questions for Brandy? All right, thanks, Brandy. Old business. Got nothing. We got new business, though. Ann, what do you got for us for new business?
The East River Road and Park has been needing a name. And so through a joint Recreation Commission and Grosse Ile Nature and Land Conservancy, we had put out information to the community and schools, the now closed Eel Camera also, for people to submit name possibilities for East River Road Park. We ended up having 61 possible name submissions, and we met last Monday, a subcommittee of the Grosse Ile Land Conservancy and the Rec Commission, along with Brandy and Dale Rim. We met to review all the names. And then we kind of narrowed it down and ended up coming up with the name we ended up liking the best that kind of is really the epitome of what that little park is like. And so we ended up deciding on Sunrise Park as the name that we would like to submit to the Recreation Commission, and then then that can be submitted to the Township Board for approval. So what I would like to do is to make a motion to the Recreation Commission to accept the name Sunrise Park for the little park over at the end of East River and at the end of Grosse Ile Parkway. Also, that name was submitted by two people, and one was our very own Ethel Yops, and the other was by someone named Emily Wash. So we haven't really decided what we would do with that, but it just was submitted by two people. So
Get,
they would both
her
get
motion
credit.
seconded.
Second.
Leah. All right, any discussion from the commission? Anyone got any questions for Ann on the commission level about the name? Anyone from the community would like to weigh in? All right, bringing it back to the commission. I know you've been working on this a long time, Ann. I appreciate it, and getting together all the people and tracking down these names. I know you're working with, I think, Ted with websites or something like that too, probably, right or not?
Facebook.
Went on
website.
Grosse Ile, yeah,
Right,
Facebook, and
So, I appreciate all the hard work you did. With that,
you're welcome.
with that being said, all those in favor of naming the Road End Parks to Sunrise Park, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion passes. We'll submit that to the Township Board and see if they will approve it too. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Subcommittee updates. Township Board Liaison, Mr. Malvesto, any updates coming from you?
No, nothing really. Last night, you'll see the picture on the screen. We had 16 kayakers going out of Water's Edge. It's other than the rain got on Tuesday nights, hasn't been all that great to us. Last night was absolutely beautiful, and there were a lot of colorful kayaks out there enjoying the evening.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Any questions for Tom? Leah, anything on the Open Space and Greenways Committee?
Yes. Find it. I didn't make it to the meeting, just totally forgot about it, and so I apologize to everyone for that. But they did a lot that evening.
So Cliff gave you a little update then or something? Or?
Yeah, no, I read the minutes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. They talked about the roads and the bike paths that have been improved, and I think we all are recognizing on the island there have been some places that are beautifully replaced in terms of the roads. They offered certificates of service to the volunteers who spread mulch on the trails. That was the St. Thomas Lutheran Church members, the Sacred Heart Youth Group, and the I don't know how to say this. Webelos Den Pack 12. Webelos Den Pack 1261. So that's good to know. The Manchester Trail has been in need of upgrading, and so bids for proposal will go out to implement the proposed plan that was presented to the board at the last meeting. There's a video called A Summer Walk in the Woods about wildlife sanctuary, and it's scheduled for release sometime in July. Guess what? At Centennial Farm, that trail, the weather has detained the placement of mulch.
Okay.
What can I
Flood
say?
zones?
And what can I say? 13 new residents were sent new resident letters, and then the new oak wilt disease for red oak trees. The Michigan Forestry Foundation will walk the Groseal trails on August 3rd to identify those trees, and then volunteers will be recruited to monitor the trees for disease.
Oh, wow.
They're really on the cutting edge with that. And they have a forestry trailer all set for the August 22nd event. And open space, Friends of the Open Space, the proposal for that, the ideas for what they would be responsible is still being reviewed. And I think I forgot one other thing. The wood cutting has been postponed again.
Oh, like for residents if they want to get some firewood?
Right, because of we're not sure what's going on.
Okay. That's a jam-packed meeting you had there.
It was. I'm sorry I missed it.
All right. Any questions for Leah? All right. Thank you, Leah. Bill, golf committee update. You got anything you'd like to talk about?
I think Brandy covered everything.
Okay. Thank you. Mike, Marina, anything you'd like to talk about the Marina?
The only thing I have, sir, is just a quick announcement and the Marina, Water's Edge Marina, is going to host a Downriver Antique and Classic Boat Show on August 29th. That boat show is being sponsored by West River Yacht and Cruising Club at our marina. And I have some information, but I don't have the air media loaded quick enough to display it. But I just want to get that word out. Downriver Antique and Classic Boat Show, August 29th at Water's Edge Marina.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mike? All right. Thanks, Mike. Airport, Recreation, Greg, anything you'd like to add today?
Nothing at this time. I'm sure with summer winding down next month that Giza and Gyra will be starting up all their programs that they start in the fall.
They'll be jam-packed then.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks. Senior citizens, Ethel, you got anything you'd like to add today?
A few things, Walter. First, I'd like to say that video on Walk Through the Woods is excellent. It's on Channel 12. Under this, the Recreation Department sponsored things are cards on the first and third Thursdays of each month at 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock at the Centennial Farm Activity Room. Adult lap swim 7 days a week from 7:30 to 8:15, $3 per visit at Water's Edge Pool. The senior strength training on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9:15 to 10 a.m. started on July 21st through September the 3rd. And the 7-week session is $70 per person or $7 for drop-in, and that's also at Centennial Farm Activity Room. And the senior club meetings are still the second and fourth Tuesday of each month with 11:30 coffee. And the first meeting, which would be the second Tuesday, we're presently having programs on business and organizations that began in Michigan. And the club will have a pizza party on August the 25th. And the second Tuesday of each month is that free blood pressure check from 10:45 to 12 noon. We don't have many people coming in, but it's available for you at the Centennial Farm. And we have 27 seniors from Groseal signed up for the Senior Olympics. Begins Monday the 27th through the 31st. It's hosted by Woodhaven. And I'll be playing pinochle, and everyone wants to know what I was doing to exercise. I get it moving between the card tables from table to table. I think that's all for right now. Thank you.
Any questions for Ethel? All right. Thank you, Ethel. All right, Miss Ann, the playscape and anything you want to add to about the Sunrise Park?
You know what? I have a update on the playscape. If anybody has not seen the new paint job at the playscape, you really need to go and see it. absolutely beautiful. In June, the Rotary, Key Club, and Builders Club members were there and did a beautiful paint job. I don't know if anybody remembers the old dragon's teeth that were on the side of the playscape. They're back. And it's beautiful. And even better, I stopped there tonight on my way home, and there were a bunch of probably middle school, young high school kids there, all behaving very well. And yes, enjoying the playscape. And I told them who I was and asked them their opinion of the paint job, and they said, "Oh my gosh, it's beautiful." And one of the young ladies there said, "I was here. I helped paint this when they did this last month." So I thanked her for her service, and you know what? It's true. If kids get involved in it, they'll probably take care of it. Everything was very clean, and so if people want to get out and see the new paint job at the playscape, please go enjoy it.
Cool.
And we just did the East River Road end naming, so we're good to go. Thank you.
Sunrise
Park, yes. Sunrise Park.
Any questions for Ann? Thank you, Ann.
You're welcome.
Miss Snyder, you got anything for school updates?
School's still out, so there's not a lot of stuff, but we're starting to get, scheduling back and, sports. I know cross country does, all summer. They have camps and, volleyball tryouts are coming up, and, school clubs usually start mid-August, so I'll have more stuff then, but right now we're just enjoying break.
All right. Any questions? All right, thank you. All right, extended public comment. Any public comment out there? All right, bringing it back. Individual commissioner comments. Start with Mike. Anything you'd like to add? Oh, there's somebody. Oh, sorry, Tim.
Who is this, Tim?
Tim Walker.
Tim Walker? Is he representing any group or what? We don't know. It's Tim Walker.
Probably Kayak. Name and address, Tim, please. Speaking to the mic a little bit better. Is there you? Oh, turn it on. Can you turn it on for him?
Oh, that was so complicated. Green light came on.
All right.
Anyway, as of June 14th, there were still 12 boats sitting on shore. They should have been launched on the weekend of 6th or 7th, June 6th or 7th. As of tonight, there's still one boat still on Water's Edge Marina property. It still has shrink wrap on it. Where, like many of the clubs here on the island, where the boats are stored in the wintertime, that becomes the public parking area in the summertime. And you can't afford to give up any parking places. Let's see. The question, I guess, is how much has been billed? These people that were late launching their boats, the winter storage contract says they'll be billed $10 a day for each day after the first weekend in June. How much has been billed? How much has been collected? And what procedures are there to ensure that these things, these fees are billed and collected? Second point, post-launch haul-outs and servicing fees for use of the hoist. There was a boat from Grosse Ile Yacht Club that was here within the last 10 days. It was hauled out. It spent a night there so that the guy could clean the bottom for racing. The next couple of nights ago, there was a boat from Water's Edge from the marina. It occupied the hoist. I'm going to say it only occupied the hoist for about an hour and a half. It was not hauled out of the water, but they did use the travel lift to pull an engine out of that boat. Now, I have a little bit of experience at Grosse Ile Yacht Club. You pull your boat out midsummer, you pay for it. Somebody brought a boat in to have a air conditioner or a generator removed. The guy paid for it. There should be no such thing as a free lunch. So I guess my question on that is, do procedures exist for reporting to the office for billing and collection? And in addition to the 2 boats that I just mentioned, how many other boats get hauled out, serviced in some way, shape, or form using Water's Edge equipment? Taxpayer equipment, I might add.
All right, so real quick, all right, we do have a date, like you said on the contract, for hauling out. Each person, it's up to that individual boat when they're going to do it, weather related. There might be a little bit of, wiggle room, whatever. But yes, we have procedures. We do bill out to the people. We do collect money.
How much has been billed? How much have you collected?
I couldn't exactly give you the exact amount, Tim, at all, but I'm sure you could stop by Rec and find out.
I'll do that tomorrow.
It's not a problem. We're not hiding nothing. As far as the our Bob, who does our dock master, he collects monies for the people pulling out up for their motors or anything like that at all. He takes care of all that. Nothing is free. He makes sure that he gives the money to these guys, whether it be a weekly or bi-weekly basis. That's the relationship that we have with our dock master.
Is there some form that is filled out holding the marina harmless when these boats get pulled out, and do the boat owners sign it, and does a copy get turned into the office or to Brandy so that we know that we're collecting all the money we're supposed to collect?
The only ones he's going to have to do anything with motors are going to be people that have the docks there. So you're saying about this other person coming from a different marina. Once again, I'd have to probably go back to Brandy or something to see if she knows anything about it, but I'm sure she can look into it for you too.
Okay. Good enough. I will turn it over to
anything you want to add at all, Brandy? Okay. Yes.
Tim, I appreciate what you're saying, because this spring was extremely difficult to get boats in the water on time just because of the weather and the rain and the cold. And now at Ford Yacht Club, we had other problems, but the weather did delay it, and I know it delayed it at Water's Edge. But so I appreciate what you're saying. There were boats that should have been in, and they weren't in, but I'm glad to hear they're in now. And I'll check on that one that's still shrink wrapped, so we can let you know.
Can't miss it.
But I do know that the marina provides a whole lot of revenue, and there's no free lunch at the marina. People pay good money to keep their boats there, even if they're just there for a night. And I just wanted to follow up with you on that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Tim.
I just want to make a comment. Grosse Ile Yacht Club, which I am quite knowledgeable about, they have a due date. And if I remember correctly, it's the end of May, if I remember correctly. They were able to comply with their due date. June 8th is a long, it's quite a ways after Grosse Ile has to have all their boats in the water. And their penalties are a lot more than $10 a day.
Well, they're a private club, so they can do that. We do have a date. I think we might have missed it this year because of the weather, but we do have written fees, and I know Bob does a good job of collecting that money.
Yeah, but Bob's part-time. He's not a full-time employee.
I know he's a part-time guy.
So we got to do the scheduling. It's really at the meeting of our customers and with Bob when they can do it. So there's really a short window. It's not like private clubs where you have that.
The snow disappeared at the same time for Water's Edge, Albemarle, Grosse Ile, Ford. The private clubs are able to handle a situation that seems like a lot better than Water's Edge.
Well, you're under the assumption though that you're saying that those people wanted to get their boats in the water, and we couldn't comply. How do you not know that those people don't care if it's $10 a day?
I don't know that.
Correct.
Water's Edge, as well as the private clubs, rely entirely on volunteer labor. I think Albemarle might be Albemarle and Ford may have hired people do some of the work.
Ford does like the work program too for their members.
Anyway, I will be talking with Brandy tomorrow.
if she's there, right?
I have a couple of questions in general based on what you mentioned, but you mentioned Albemarle. We pay members who are on the team to launch and recover boats.
Work hours?
But they're members. Work hours, and if they go over the work hours, they are paid a certain fee for that. But my other question is, how do we keep track of transient dockers, and are they paying their due when they come in and spend a day or a weekend or whatever at Water's Edge?
Well, over the past, we've had it go back where Pier 1 people would watch over it, Sharkies would watch over it. It's really basically on your honor system, basically. Okay. We talked about putting a box down there or something and seeing if that would work, whatever, but somebody will steal it. I know, right?
They pay currently at the pro shop, and pretty much it's monitored by the people in the marina and by Bob, and then people come in and pay.
Is there a sign that says that?
Oh, there's several signs.
There's a lot of signs down there that remind people that they need to go up to the pro shop and pay their $5 or their $20.
Right.
The last boat that's there, we're in contact with the people, and we're in the process. There was very extended illness, so we're working with them.
Yeah, and I think you even sent out letters or whatever too, right? Reminders that, hey, you're past due or something. So, Kathy.
Kathy Walker, Thorpe Court. I have to comment on the honor system. There is no honor when people are trying to get dockage. I'm always surprised you guys haven't put in a coin thing like they do in Ann Arbor, where if you park, you don't have to have money. You just, do your credit card and it's done. I mean, it works. I guess if they had a camera there or something, I guess with this, all these smart people here ought to figure it out, because they've got there's so many marinas that do have the same situation, and somehow they collect the money. But anyways, my question is, how many empty slips do we have this year?
Randy, you offhand 5 we had?
4 or 5.
Okay. Usually the slips are filled, is my understanding. Is there some reason why? Like lack of amenities?
We lost some boats.
But
every month, I always tell people. Four out of 55.
Two of them were filled of the 5, and we had 2 people who sold their boats, and they got back part of their money.
We were the same last year.
I don't know. I just always I'm always about money, how I am. Because I was thinking maybe if you had more amenities, Wi-Fi, things like that, it might help.
If you had more money, it'd be good, too.
Well, you have money. They have money for things, and that brings up another thing, the splash park. Has anything changed on the splash park? Where is the status on that?
The status is quotes, I think. Really,
Are you progressing?
Huh?
Are you progressing on this?
It's been approved all the way to the board level.
I know. Are you progressing on this? That's it.
Everything's a go, Kathy.
Okay. I was curious. Surprising, but curious. How about the skating rink? How are the fundraisers going on that?
Going well. They're putting together a fundraiser for this year. So
golf?
It's a golf outing, but I'm not sure about the particulars. It'll be announcements will be coming out shortly, I would imagine.
Great. Also, I noticed that something in the paper, and people who live in Royal Lake are probably familiar with it. Brandy, you might know about it. They're having a park, a Wi-Fi park. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. They had a $100,000 fundraiser, and it's going to be amazing. I guess this is the cutting edge of what's going on for people who want to recreate, and they have Wi-Fi parks now going in, I guess, across the country. And the first one in Michigan is my understanding, in Royal Oak, where a lot of people are, and it brings more people in. So I just thought I'd mention that. And if anybody wants to see it,
I wish they'd get the communication committee back, and maybe that's something they could work on.
I agree with you on that. But moving right along. Thank you.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Oh, last thing, I forgot. On your park that was just mentioned, I am donating the flag, making it like a dragon, just so you have it. It'll be there for the October opening. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, extended public comment. Mr. Swales, anything to add? Oh, you want to say something? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought when I said I didn't see anybody.
Tom Snyder, 8448 Rucker. I just wanted to update you guys. We had taken the discussion of the AEDs to the township level, and at the board they decided to have a subcommittee consisting of Chief Porcerelli, Chief Duncan Murdoch. We're going to have Mr. Malvesto. We'll have Dale Riem and myself and my daughter Natalie, and at that point we can always update the Recreation Commission what will happen after that, but I just want to let you guys know what happened at that meeting.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Good work. Tom Snyder, yep. Mr. Myring, anything you want to add?
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Morrow? Nothing at this time. Ms. Shelkey?
Nothing at this time.
Ms. Hayner-Magron?
Nothing.
Ms. Yops?
Yes, I would just like to say something about today's dinner. It was wonderful, and the people that didn't show up missed a great one. And I'd also like to thank the hostesses and host, Sue and Brandy and Annette and Bob. They did a wonderful job. Thank you so much.
All right, here's the dinner. Ms. Snyder?
I just wanted to apologize for being late. I was at the hospital with my grandpa. He's doing okay. I just lost track of time was all.
Families first. Mr. Malvesto?
I'm going to be silent tonight.
Miss Boyd?
Just want to invite everyone out to our third to last concert of the series. We have the Groove Council tomorrow night from 7 to 9 at Water's Edge. And then the following week is the big band. It's called Mood Swings. And then our last concert is on August 6th, and it is the Looking Back Band, which is a Bob Seger tribute band.
Awesome.
All 7 to 9, rain or shine.
Right.
Pardon me?
Where's Water's Edge?
There's a lot of people. You guys drive by there on Thursdays. Who's doing the Commons this Sunday, do you know?
I don't know.
That's usually about the arts.
Behind the times.
Behind the Times? All right, thanks. You guys had a great turnout. Thanks, Ted.
Wally. Wally. Yeah. Walt. I do have one thing. This coming weekend will be the 50th class reunion for the class of 1965, of which I was a part, by the way. And although it's really not a recreation bulletin, I can tell you that class was big into recreation in 1965. But there's going to be a lot of people coming into town. I hope they all enjoy it.
Cool.
So,
all right.
Have them play golf.
Yeah. Foot golf, too.
Foot golf, right.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Bill, second.
I'll second that motion.
And Mike seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Please volunteer in your community and have a good evening. Thank you.